Choose life. Choose a career. Choose N202G, or commonly known as Never Talked Again. Welcome back, guys. We are today going to be discussing the best loadouts and guns in Warzone Season 4 Reloaded, currently today on the 24th of July 2021 at 11:26 GMT time. So without further ado, let's tell you a lot. Let's do some analysis into why these guns are so goddamn good and going to be appearing in my loadouts and the best guns. So without further ado, let's check it out. So guys, I've created a spreadsheet here which gives us the damage profiles of all of the SMGs, the assault rifles and MG, which allows us to help to ascertain what is the best gun out there. So guys, I'm going to leave this spreadsheet for you so you can check it out, see what you think, and it will be in the comments so you can just go and check it out for yourself and see what you think is the best guns based on what the profiles are. But just to explain it all, so we have the weapons, of course, in the first category. Then we have the damage profiles on head, chest, stomach, and extremities. And then we have the average damage, including headshots, and then the average damage excluding headshots, as you can see on these columns. And then I rank them on an average of which one's the top one. As we can see, the KSP is clearly a massive damage profile gun. The headshot is 62. Clearly outshines every other gun, and even on the chest, stomach, and extremities, this gun excels. However, this gun is a free burst gun, so you have to bear that in mind. So even though it might have the best damage profile and in paper be the best gun, in fact, is it? Probably not. So then we scroll across and we have the damage drop-off. So this is when the gun's damage profile changes. So this gives you the meterage where it excels up to a certain point, and then from there, the damage drops off. As you can see on the MP5 Cold War, the damage drop-off is 9 meters. So this gun is a gun that is geared up for very close range play, very similar to the shotguns that we have. But this did have a slight nerf, and as you can see, it's clearly, even in the close range category, it's clearly not one of the best guns out there. If we scroll across, we can then go across to the damage range after the drop-off. So after the drop-off, this is the new damage profiles. And this is the same setup as before. Head, chest, stomach, and extremities, the average including chest, and average excluding headshots. And just some comments and profiles, because some guns do have damage profiles that sit between, which are very hard for me to manage to work out which is the best one. So as you can see, just as a quick snapshot, the KSP clearly looks like the most dominant gun around, but we do know this is a burst weapon, so it would be hard to nail those headshots. And we do notice that the headshot as well, even when the damage drop-off, is clearly outshines every other gun here. However, we can see in general for close range up to the drop-off, for the Milano and afterwards, it excels in its damage profiles. So this gun is definitely one of the most harder hitting guns out there, and is pretty damn good, but it does have a slow rate of fire, so if you are missing those shots, it's not going to be so forgiving. A good example is if we look at something like the MAC-10. This is pretty much everyone's go-to gun. Everyone loves this gun, but the damage profiles are actually not that great, and the average damage is actually very low. In fact, it's pretty much the lowest damage profile for anything that's excluding the headshot, for its damage range up to 15 meters. And if we scroll across after 15 meters, it's pretty much not up there as well. It's pretty much in the low thing. However, this gun does have an extremely fast fire rate, and sometimes double that of every other gun. So even though it does have a bad profile, it is still a very good gun to use. It's super mobile, very easy to use. It snaps onto targets. So this gun, I would not outright, by looking at the stats, you would think this gun is pretty much the worst gun there is to have here. However, that is not the case. So there are outliers, but there are some which you definitely shine. Like the Milano is definitely a gun that shines very highly. Even the Uzi, with it in terms of its damage profiles, pops up quite hard. However, it does have a small ammo clip, so it would be more ideal for solo play. But there's definitely a lot better options out there. So going through this stats, I have my top guns. The Milano, which has its slow rate of fire, great damage profiles across the board. The MAC-10, even though it is pretty much the bottom for profile, has the fastest rate of forgiving, so it has an insane time to kill. And if you miss a shot, it's kind of like pretty forgiving, and you can get those back in. The AK-74, you can see this actually was pretty good. This ranked up in the 5th for the up to its drop-off, and then 3rd afterwards. So this shows you this is a great gun for sniper support. Then we have the MP5 Modern Warfare. It's got a great snap-on with your controller player. It's super great up to, for its damage drop-off is 17.5 meters. It came in 5th and 4th, so it's pretty much good across the board. And then after that, it pretty much came in again on 4th. So it's a pretty damn good gun on average for its close to medium range. And then we have one of my favourites, the Bullfrog. Just a super great, easy gun to use. Very, very easy to pick up and use in general. Then we go on to assault rifles. Same kind of setup on this tab, guys. I've got the same thing and ranked them all. So I'm not going to bore you with all the total stats, but it's quite clear here. You can see I've highlighted two of my pretty much favourite guns. The ones that do rank high is the Odin. This gun is a beast in terms of power and the hits, but the recoil is incredibly bad. The Scar and the Foul are also super highly, have massive damage profiles, but these guns have really small ammo clips, so do not make them viable for anything other than solo play. Apart from that, across the board, the C58 pretty much was bang in the middle. And for me, this gun is, because it's medium to long range, we know that it's going to have a slow rate of fire, not as fast as something like the AMAX, which is even also a slow rate of fire gun when compared to something like the Krig or the Farah. But for me, in terms of stats wise, the C58 is a clear winner across the top of the board for the best guns. You can look at a lot of the others and look at my comments, and you can judge for yourself. But my top guns will be the C58, the AMAX, the Krig, the Stoner, the Farah, and the Gra. The Stoner, in terms of across the board for the LMGs, they're pretty much the same. The PKM has the same pretty much damage profile as well as the Stoner, as well as the Brune. So they're pretty much all on par. However, the Stoner has great mobility, has zero recoil, and has a nice standard ammo clip. So that's why that one appears in my top 4th place. The Krig doesn't appear in the top 5, but it has a good average profile damage, which is pretty much just sits below the top 5. And the top 5 guns do basically, if you look through my comments, do not make them viable except for the C58. Then you would have the AMAX, but the AMAX is clearly beaten by the C58 in terms of ease of use, the recoil control, and damage profile. Whereas the Krig is super easy. It has no recoil, great mobility, fast ADS, and has a 60 mag clip. So this gun is clearly, could be in theory put in top of the AMAX, but I like to keep it into the 3rd rank category, which is great. The other great ones are the Farah, still not too bad with its profile, easy to use, and not a bad choice, but I would definitely go with the Krig, and then the Gra, pretty much a secondary. Great gun to be using for Ghost if you do want to use iron sights and not having a scope on it. However, without further ado, now let's go and check out the best gun, top 5 loadouts. So my top 5 loadouts, in first place, I have the MP5 Modern Warfare gun with the C58. This guy is super versatile. It really snaps onto players. You can engage in quads, trios, duos. It's a great gun to use. My attachments for this are the monolithic integral suppressor, the 5mm laser, the Merc foregrip, the 45 round mags, and the sleight of hand for that reload quickness and that slightly faster fire rate. The C58, which is clearly the now best assault rifle out there, does have that slow fire rate, but very good. I rock the agency suppressor, the task force barrel, the Axel 3x scope, the 55 round mag, and the field agent grip. In second place, I have the Mac 10 with the Krig. These are the easiest guns to use. The Mac 10 is super forgiving, and the Krig is the same as well. So these are fantastic guns if you're a controller player like myself. So the Mac 10, we rock the agency suppressor, task force barrel, Tiger Team Spotlight, 53 round drum, and the Raider stock. This increases all the sprint to fire on this gun and make this gun incredibly good to use. The Krig for itself, we use the agency suppressor, the Ranger barrel, the Axel 3x, the 60 round mag, and the field agent grip. This gun is absolutely fantastic. For this, I tend to shove on the throwing knife, so I don't have to use those bullets to kill a player. Once they're down, I can use the throwing knife. Same for my perks, that EOD, Overkill, and Amped, and that's pretty much what I run for everything, unless I'm on Rebirth Island. My third place is the Gallo shotgun with the C58. Powerhouse up front and close and personal. The Gallo is something that you should not joke about, guys. This gun is good. It's great in close quarters. And for this, I run the agency choke, the reinforced barrel, the Ember sight point, the marathon stock, and the 12 round tube. This gun will shred against players in close proximity against SMGs. Clearly much better. And then my favourite tried and tested assault rifle is the C58, which I have on this. The same thing again, agency suppressor, task force barrel. This time I used the roll and cross 4x scope, the 55 round mag, and the field agent grip. And for this I use the same perks as I do with my Mag 10. Finally, I next have in my fourth place, I have the Milano and the Stoner. I do love this setup. I also use this in Rebirth, and if I do, I change out EOD for quick fix. And for this on the Milano, I run the sound suppressor, the task force barrel, the Tiger Team spotlight, the Raider stock, and the 55 round drum. This gun is fantastic and I do love using this. And for the Stoner, I use the agency suppressor, the task force barrel, the roll and cross 4x scope, the field agent grip, and the airborne elastic wrap. If I am going to be playing quads, I'd probably shove out the airborne elastic wrap and shove on the 120 round mag if I want that extra ammo. Other than that, this is what I use for these. And in my fifth place, we've got something pretty special. We've got the AK-47 and the Swiss. The Swiss is pretty much an absolute beast. It's also, you can use the KAR-98K, but at the moment I'm loving the Swiss. The aiming stability on this is phenomenal. So first of all, let's look at the sniper support gun, the AK-47. We run the suppressor barrel, the Spets NAS RPK barrel, the Microflex LED, the 45 round drum, and the Spets NAS grip. It does have a little of kick, but this has insanely good damage profiles, especially for the headshots, which is really good. And for the Swiss, we rock the Gru suppressor, the compact recon, the 5mm laser sight, the bruiser grip, and the serpent grip. However, one might want to change out the bruiser grip and shove on the fast mag for that reload quickness, just in case you wanted to get off 5 2-shots quickly. However, the bruiser grip is a great one for that aiming stability and movement speed as well. Pretty much, I would say snipers are king at the moment, as well as the C58. And there's a lot of options in terms of the close to medium range, but these are my top 5 picks. The rest I won't have to go into. This is pretty much your own personal preference in terms of ghost rig, stock, high alert, and ghost profiles. And my project is pretty much basically the same as my fourth best one, but from this I just have the perk, which is basically Project 8 is what I use for Rebirth Island. Guys, I really much appreciate everything you do for me. Make sure you like and subscribe to this. Ladies, over and out from N2O2G.